cut content, the what? Evil plot behind the Jeju Island raid? Evil? Who's scheming behind the scenes?
Depending on whether you're watching the anime, reading the manhwa, or reading the novel,
Yeah.
all three will present the Jeju Island arc somewhat differently.
Okay.
Each depiction villainizes Japan to varying degrees.
Yeah, I think that, again, even before all of this happened, we already kind of had an idea what would happen, because why else would Japan be named to a different country in the Japanese release, right? If Japan truly was glazed in the official release, then everything should be fine, right? No, something bad's happening with Japan.
Where if it's the novel you get some borderline supervillain stuff, the manhwa is a more toned down version of it, and I expect the anime...
They're just treating Japan like fucking World War II war criminals. I mean, listen. This is a Korean webtoon, right? And I don't really know exactly what the public sentiment is around my generation. And I don't think that the solo leveling author is so much older than me, but definitely the older OG generation, the grandpas, right? The boomers. They went through it. They absolutely hate Japan, right? Again, context matters, right? A lot of fucked up shit was happening during the wars, right? But it's not that surprising to hear that Japan would be done dirty in a Korean show.
To barely mention it at all. The nature of this cut content does relate to characters and concepts that will show up later though, so for those I'll flash a minor spoiler alert on the screen beforehand.
I'm down with minor spoilers, fuck it.
Since they are topics the anime should have introduced already though,
yep.
I definitely think it's important to be aware of them.
I'm gonna be aware of it.
Especially since some have a direct hand in dictating the way the plot is going now. So, while yes, technically some of this is spoilers, they're not the type which will ruin the show for you. In fact, I'd actually argue they serve to enhance it.
Yeah.
Once again, not all of this is
Beautiful
spoilers
background
though,
art.
so for the parts that are, I'll include timestamps with the spoiler alert. Now, just very quickly before that, last video I unveiled my new collection of solo leveling inspired shirts, so in case you missed it, here it is again.
It looked good.
We got the strongest T returning in shirt and hoodie form, then the two new designs featuring Igris's and Iron's iconic weapons. You can get all three at a discount when you buy them together, so be sure to check that out using the link down in the description.
Link in chat.
They'll only be available
Go help
for
on
about
AniNews
3
if you
weeks
want.
or so. So, if you want to support the channel and get some high quality streetwear in return, I promise this is clothing you won't be disappointed in.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, let's start things off with the carnage at this remote island, since the events here are more than just a grave premonition of what awaits these countries. The behavior of the ant was actually shown to be quite intelligent, since unlike my teammates in Marvel Rivals, it knew to focus the weakest hunters first. With
Marvel Rivals. Still haven't played that game, but yes, anytime you have a team fighting game, right, everyone else is a fucking retard except you. Yeah, the ants are getting smarter. They're evolving. Not only are they evolving, they're becoming more intelligent. Maybe they'll become capable of speech. Kind of scary.
108 of them actively chasing it. It methodically eliminated the E ranks first to decrease their numbers, then got rid of the healers in order to weaken them.
Smart.
It was a level of intelligence that indicated the ant knew what situations would put it at an advantage and disadvantage. Luckily, a dashcam was able to get footage for the Hunter Association, so in Korea they weren't entirely in the dark with regards to what they were dealing with. Now, you may think 108 hunters was excessive for a single A-rank monster, but considering its ability to sense danger and adapt, Japan believed their response was the appropriate one.
They needed more.
I mean, even with all that, they still took on casualties anyway. So, with Japan possessing one of the most well-organized systems with regards to its network of hunters, the fact it suffered so many casualties meant any other country would likely end up worse from a crisis like this. Combine that with the numerous islands Korea had off their coast just like Japan, and the association knew they were in trouble. They simply weren't capable of monitoring every island like how Japan was.
Oh, some fun facts about Jeju Island. Now, this is a stereotype. Apparently, Jeju Island has the highest ratio of girls to guys. There's a lot more women than guys. Was that the stereotype? No. The other stereotype is the guys are all bums. The guys are all just like bunch of like loser bums that wants to get carried by the women. Apparently that is like the stereotype culture at Jeju Island. Is this true? I don't know. I just heard of it.
Their country just didn't have enough hunters.
Also, I think in Jeju Island, that's also where, like, there's a specific type of beef. Jeju Island Wagyu beef? There's like a Jeju Black. Yeah. There's like this specific type that, like, I mean, Korea is also known for like Hanwoo beef, which is like really luxurious elite like beef quality, but there's also like the Jeju Black. It's a Korean breed of domestic cattle, blah blah blah. Apparently it's like one of the most elite cuts of meat there exists. Never had it, but that's another fun fact.
Plus, with this ant having flown 150 kilometers just to get here, that meant it could easily make it to the mainland too.
Yeah.
The islands weren't the only areas in
it's
danger
coming.
anymore.
They're flying.
This put Chairman Go into quite the tough situation, since when he considered what countries might come to their aid, there wasn't a single one that came to mind. China and Russia were actually the most likely, but even with their plentitude of hunters to spare, the
Russian
amount of land
hunters.
they needed to protect made it difficult to justify it. America had refused to help in all the raids before, so it
Bald. America refused to help out in the raids? Really? I thought the America of the past would always be down to just like bring democracy, justice upon everybody, and would act as a world police, but not in the world of solo leveling.
was more than likely they'd do the same again. There was, however, an independent who requested to come out and help regardless, and that would be Hwang Dong-soo. As Mr. Wu would inform Chairman Go, he was very intent on participating in this raid.
Shit, Dong-soo
Of
coming?
course, both the chairman and Wu knew it was to target Sung, so without even being told to do so, Wu had already denied Hwang's request and barred his entry into the country.
Oh, he got banned. Even Johnny Somali is not banned from Korea just yet. Hwang Dong-soo is. But, man, I would have loved to see him crash out of Jeju Island, right? Maybe get a little bit of a scuffle with Jim Woo as well, but I guess Mr. Dong-soo was sitting this one out.
He had used the conflict with Beck as an excuse to justify it. Hwang wasn't the only person who tried to get in contact, though, as another party expressed interest in meeting as well.
Thomas Andre.
Who might that be? Well, he's one of 5 hunters the world likes to classify as a national level hunter.
One of 5. There are 5 national level hunters. All right, we're going beyond S rank. Even though these are S rank heroes, right? S rank hunters. National level hunter is like a title reserved for like the best of the best. Okay, we got some top 5 coming in.
This is a concept Jinho's dad should have introduced back when he was talking about the guild, since that was the core reason he knew power was the new world order. Mr. Yu didn't just fear S ranks, he feared the level above and their near godlike power.
Mr. America, bro. He just wears long, blonde, mullet hair, sunglasses, Hawaiian t-shirt. It's just like, Americans, be the Americans that the Koreans think you are.
Like, these hunters weren't called national level for nothing. It was a title that indicated their power was equivalent to an entire nation's military.
Yo, is there a global level hunter? Is there a galactic level hunter? Universal level hunter?
So, it was one of these all-powerful hunters which wanted to speak to the chairman, leading to a cutscene with him.
Alright.
This is Thomas Andre, and he's the guild leader of the Scavenger Guild. The one from America that Hwang Dong-soo is part of.
Okay.
The meeting was brief yet powerful, since when a hunter like him requests something, it was definitely in your best interests to oblige. So, first he would ask where Sung Jin-woo was.
Oh,
Chairman
he's
Go
interested
had no
in him.
idea, so the best he could do was answer honestly and hope Thomas believed him.
Yeah, he has no clue that Jim was at a demon castle, right? Nobody has any idea where the hell he's been up to recently. Thomas on Jim 10th S rank hunter news reached America, huh? I thought that this was like a domestic, like an insane domestic news, but I didn't think that it would reach like nationally. Maybe Thomas is just so bored that he's just always on the lookout for any new potential S rank hunters that could entertain him.
I mean, it's not like people often lied to him anyway, so Thomas had no problem accepting Chairman Go's answer. His next question was more of a demand, since he wanted to ensure Hwang Dong-soo couldn't return here. It's likely he was familiar with Hwang's personal beef and for whatever reason wanted the association to keep Hwang away from it. So, since that was an issue Wu already took care of, That was it for what Thomas wanted.
Alright,
The
bye.
meeting was done and Thomas would leave now.
That's a cool tattoo he has on his left forearm. I wonder if that really matters for his powers, but cool design.
Chairman Go couldn't help but be a bit disappointed since what he thought was a potential avenue for his country's salvation instead turned out to be nothing more than a meeting which could have been an email. That said, if
He could have just showed up and said, hey, yo, where Jimu at? I don't know. Okay, bye. It wasn't, oh, Mr. Thomas Andre, will you clutch for us and save Korea from Jeju Island radar? Nah, I don't wanna. You deal with that shit.
Korea could somehow put together the right amount of cash to hire him, well, that was a completely different story. In the meantime, Japan would be having a crisis meeting of their own since for them, a remote village had just been wiped off the map.
By the end,
This
yeah.
brought the Japanese government together with Japan's own hunter association, leading to a conversation where a plan had to be made. You see, with the Prime Minister wanting the problem solved as fast as possible, it wasn't an exaggeration to say most people's jobs here depended on the results of this meeting. No one really had a plan yet, but the association president did see an opportunity.
Matsumoto Shigeo. So this is like Goga and he's equivalent here. Chairman of Japan's Hunter Association. He looking real crisp.
Since Jeju Island was a piece of land South Korea couldn't defend on their own, he believed it fair to question their ownership of it. It was a controversial statement that got everyone in the room talking.
Whoa, go back?
It was a piece of land South Korea couldn't defend on their own. He believed it fair to question their ownership of it.
Oh shit. oh, we going geopolitics with this one. They're like, do you really own Jeju Island? Is this truly Korea's? I don't know, man. I feel like Jeju Island is ours.
It was a controversial statement that got everyone in the room talking.
Damn.
No one would dare to assume what it was Matsumoto was implying though, so to make his words
Matsumoto, annexation of Jeju Island. I don't know, he's just basically saying, yo, Jeju, does Korea really own it? I don't know about that. They're going to question their sovereignty.
as clear as possible, he just came right out and said it. Japan would step in to secure Jeju Island, and
then it's
in
be
doing
ours.
so they'd also take Jeju Island for themselves.
Ooh. You know what? That's a big brain play. Maybe that's why Japan wants to, get involved hard, right? Like out of nowhere, 10 S rank hunter dudes show up with, by Goto Ryuji. Yeah, you know what? Okay. So their goal from the beginning was never really about, I mean, getting rid of the ants, I think, is an important thing for everybody, but at the same time, there's like a hidden bonus. Claim Jeju Island for ours.
It was once that was said that all on the association side would be completely silent, but
Is this
for the members
Gates?
of government, well, let's just say they were riled up. I mean, not only was the Prime Minister awaiting an appropriate solution, but so was the entire country too. So, to come out and say they were gonna annex another country's island right after this incident, well, that just didn't seem like the best solution. Now, obviously Matsumoto wasn't implying they do so by force, but what he was saying was they coerced them using this crisis.
It's smart, right? It's a lot smarter than what Trump is doing right now with Canada and Mexico and Greenland and whatever, right? They're like, it's like, hey, you need some help, right? We'll help out, but in doing so, here's some favors that you should owe us. It's a smart geopolitical move, and it's not so forceful. It's obviously, it is shady. It is big brain, though. It's not so just brute forcing it. There is a clear incentive that Korea kind of like relies on.
If his plan went exactly as he intended, then by the end, Korea would be ready to hand over Jeju Island willingly.
Oh my god.
Still, the idea seemed absolutely ridiculous, but for Matsumoto, he was incredibly serious. Even the Vice Prime Minister, who was currently in the room with them, couldn't fathom how such a feat would even be possible. That's not to say he wasn't interested though, since he was actually quite curious to hear more about it. So, when it came down to it, Matsumoto knew South Korea wasn't in a position to say no to help.
True.
The world had all but accepted its unofficial stance they'd given up, so if another country came in offering help, there wasn't a chance any sane person would deny it.
That plan was never really mentioned in the meetings though, right? At least in the anime, right? We don't even have Matsumoto showing up, so none of us are really aware of it. Like, if they presented that deal from the beginning and was like, listen, we help you out, but we take the island after, I'd be like, that is fair. You were honest with it. We accepted the help, and now you're going to get paid for it. But in the anime so far, it's kind of hush hush so far.
I mean, Jeju Island was 2% of their overall landmass after all. It was quite a hefty amount to just write off like that. The thing is, help probably wasn't enough to get South Korea to hand over the island. Even if it was, for Japan the island definitely wasn't enough as compensation. You see, when it came to putting the life of an S-rank at risk, an island like Jeju paled greatly in comparison. So, when asked what else was to be gained in return, well, let's just say Matsumoto had something a lot more foul in mind.
Smoking aura.
The only reason no one realized it yet was because they were so focused on the idea of Japan actually helping Korea that not once did they think this wasn't their intention. Well, Matsumoto never said it was, and he had actually made a point to make clear he was only suggesting it.
Okay.
It was then that Matsumoto's true intent would come to light, revealing a plot that would effectively destroy South Korea. Now, I don't mean that entirely literally, but if Matsumoto's plan went the way he intended, Korea's position in the world would drop dramatically.
Spoiler alert. You know what? Fuck it, I'm down. Let's just watch it.
So, what was this plan then? Well, it was essentially a trap that would result in the death of all of South Korea's S-ranks. There is a chance this does get revealed in the anime, but the full extent of Matsumoto's plan—
They just want to bail? Like Japan says, what was Japan's plan from the beginning? We're going to lure out all the ants and you guys go take care of the queen. But what if Japan never does that? What if Japan says, now we're not gonna lure anyone? And they just leave. And everyone just dies on the island. Yeah, that's definitely a plan.
Plan wasn't even revealed in the manhwa. So it's for that reason that I'm sharing it now. This plan was set in motion far before any of this, and it changes the light under which we see everything. So, how was Japan planning to kill all of Korea's S-ranks? Well, with Japan's S-ranks forming the diversion on the outside,
that's right,
we know Korea's would proceed to the queen.
Exactly.
It's once—
And they wouldn't know though if Japan bailed out, right? All they know so far is that Japan will act as the bait. In Korea, you go take down the queen. But if Japan just says, fuck it, we're out, then Korea is done. They just get trapped in there.
Once they were in the tunnels facing off against the queen, that Japan would withdraw and send all the ants back into the tunnels. Knowing Korea wasn't able to handle these ants 3 times before, Matsumoto was confident they wouldn't be able to handle them now. Certainly not from an unexpected ambush numbering in the thousands. So this to Matsumoto was the fate of Korea the moment they failed the raid the first time. All he was doing was helping to speed up the process.
That's crazy. That's so evil. In terms of weakening your foes and getting, you know, like power over them, it is very smart, but damn, that's evil. You would think that everyone would band together and for the sake of the world, because it's in everyone's best interest to get rid of the ants before the ants start flying over to other places and start fucking their places, that we would all work together. But like, this dude, his goal isn't to, you know, clear the ant raid, it's to just wipe out Korea's forces.
What then happens when all of Korea's S-ranks are dead? Well, that's where the whole willingly part comes in. With nothing left to defend themselves from an onslaught of ants.
That's right, then the Japanese heroes show up. In this time of need, these valiant Japanese hunters showed up and saved the day. Wow, so amazing, so heroic.
It was only natural Korea would become desperate for any help. I mean, their borders would be incredibly susceptible to all sorts of danger now. There was even a chance North Korea would try to invade with their own S-ranks.
North Korea? North Korea does have S-ranks?
There was even a chance North Korea would try to invade with their own S-ranks.
Oh shit!
It's unlikely China, Russia, or America would do anything to help then, so when Japan steps in to be their knight in shining armor, that's when Korea would have no choice but to cling to them.
That's right, the heroic hunters of Japan, you know, during our time of need. Wow. That's so amazing, they're so kind. But at the end of the day, Matsumoto planned it all, baby. This is all politics, man. This is how it actually works in the real world, too.
It was a vulnerable position that, by then, Korea would probably be willing to hand over Jeju Island and more. Jeju Island was just the beginning, since if Matsumoto's plan finished the way he wanted, then in the end it would be all of Korea that fell under Japan's influence. They would have assumed control without firing a single shot.
You know what? I want the exact opposite to happen. I want all of Japan's S ranks to all die. Just because of this plotline right now, I want the reversal to happen. Wouldn't that be sweet, sweet poetry? The karma. Oh my god. Could you imagine that? Like, that would be absolute nuclear drama.
So, with that,
And not even that, maybe Jinmu just says arise on every one of the S-rank hunters too and makes them join our army.
leading to the birth of Matsumoto's empire, this would be the full extent of the plan he came up with. It was a plan the government would fully commit to, and it would be the same plan Goto would operate under here.
Damn.
At least in the novel.
Goto knows all about it. He's in touch with Matsumoto. That's their goal from the beginning. But that's the novels though, right? That's the novels. In the anime right now, how much is Goto aware of this plan?
In the manhwa, Goto's motivations were a little different, but that's a topic we'll cover in a little bit.
Okay.
For now, Goto and Matsumoto had just arrived at the airport, and Goto was sensing someone incredibly powerful. As a hunter capable of standing on equal footing with China's strongest.
Oh! Damn, okay. Alright, we got Japan's strongest, we got China's strongest, now it's here. Liu Zigang. My bad if I butchered his name, but Liu Zigang. Okay, alright, this guy's hair is pretty cool. He got a ponytail, pop collar.
Goto knew this was a present South Korea wasn't capable of producing.
Okay.
That's when an association member would reveal it was Thomas Andre, leading Matsumoto to think he might interfere with their business. For a bit more information on Goto himself, he was the leader of the Blade Guild, the largest and most powerful guild in Japan since, unlike Korea, there was no competition in Japan. Where Korea had their top 5 always competing against each other, in Japan it was just the Blade Guild at the top.
And if the Blade Guild gets decimated because karma hits them the other way, doesn't Japan just become crippled? Is this why there's nuclear drama? I mean, already, no, that doesn't even need to happen. The fact that like Matsumoto had these kind of evil plans already portrays in Japan in such an unfavorable light that, of course, right, A1 Pictures is gonna have a separate version, right, in the anime release in Japan. Like, imagine, like, you know, like, it doesn't feel nice when you're literally, your nation is being demonized in the anime that you're making, right? So, oh god, this is gonna get messy.
They alone possessed 11 out of the 21 S-rank hunters in the entire country. Now, the joint meeting had government officials present as well, so when Matsumoto offered to so generously create a united front, the ministers of Korea were all too eager to accept the offer. They initially thought Japan was going to demand reparations, so for them to do the opposite, well, that was almost too good to be true.
It's a scam.
Only Chairman Go remained skeptical of this all too timely offer. He at least wanted to know what their plan was first. Matsumoto would then reveal the plan as mentioned in the anime, exposing a harsh truth that made their offer all the more unbelievable. You see, since Japan knew the ants had exited the tunnels only 3 times before, that indicated they had been spying on them.
Okay.
Not only that, but they were watching closely yet did nothing to help them.
Oh.
That being the case, in a way the information they gained was at the expense of all the dead hunters from Korea.
Damn. They got surveillance, they're carefully watching, they let sacrifices happen just to, you know, increase their intelligence and all this. So they're already using us for, like, you know, just sacrifice.
It was a notion Chairman Go couldn't help but be upset about.
Oh, damn.
This led him.
This face. The complete black background with detailed shading. Damn. Aura. Old man mad.
To unleash a bit of his magical energy, enough to get Goto to react with his own.
Okay.
It was only fair that Japan respond in kind to whatever aggression Korea initiate. Even so, Mr. Go knew he couldn't let his personal feelings get in the way of solving the biggest problem his country has ever faced before.
What a good
man.
man.
As much as he didn't like to admit it, he knew Japan's help was necessary if they were going to even attempt a raid.
This is like the same feeling that Zelensky has. When he's getting berated by two fucking clowns, he's like, nope, can't crash out now. Can't crash out now. Keep it to yourself. The greater good is more important than my personal ego.
So, the question wasn't whether to accept the help or not. It was instead, could Korea's 6 viable S ranks actually kill the Ant Queen? Perhaps
Maybe.
if Sung was there, they...
I don't think so. I think that Sung Jin-woo can. I don't even think the Ant Queen is the big boss, because like again in the trailers, right? There's that dark blue grayish new ant that got hatched from the egg. That must be the biggest threat. Can anybody take it out? There's no way. It's gotta be only Jin-woo.
They could, but if he wasn't, then the mission would become a whole lot riskier. At the very least, the plan to get them there seemed solid. Since it has been proven the ants leave the tunnels when they sense a powerful presence, Goto's multi-directional attack on the coast should leave the queen minimally guarded.
Should.
It's from there the Korean team will helicopter in, infiltrate the tunnel,
keyword.
kill the queen, then helicopter out. They didn't need to kill every ant along the way, they just needed to kill the queen herself.
True. Then everyone else goes offline.
While Mr. Go wasn't sure they'd succeed, what he did know was that the ants needed to be taken care of before they evolved even more. If that meant resorting to borrowing another country's strength, then that was a price he was willing to accept. The only thing Japan asked for in return was an even split of the magic crystals.
Okay, that's it.
It was a seemingly small asking price considering the value Korea was getting in return.
But the secret evil plan is still along its way, right? Wipe out Korea's power, make them reliant, have the Japanese heroes swoop in and just basically take everything.
Now, in the manhwa, this would be where Goto would reveal his true intentions, highlighting a whole new motivation apart from the ones we mentioned earlier. This one was a bit more personal, since remember how I said he was as strong as Liu? Well,
Yeah.
Liu was national level and Goto wasn't.
What?
Was as strong as Liu? Well, Liu was national level and Goto wasn't.
Oh, a little bit of a ego. So even though he's just as strong as Liu, the Chinese guy, still not national level title. Must kind of hurt his ego.
Why, might you ask, would someone who was equally as strong not carry the same credentials?
Why not?
Well, that's because Goto didn't have the qualifications to earn one.
What?
He didn't have a completed S-rank gate under his belt.
Oh, like your resume. Like even though on paper they might be pretty evenly matched up, you need more merits. You need like a huge thing. So if he was the one to basically be integral in securing Jeju Island, then okay, boom, there was a check mark, national hunter status.
So, it was once he cleared Jeju Island that would finally qualify him as a national level hunter. The 6th in the world to ever be one.
Nah, fuck him. Let Sung Jin will be the 6th rank, bro. Nah. Fuck Goto Ryuji.
Or at least he hoped anyway. This would be more than enough compensation for Japan, since their status in the world would increase dramatically.
Okay, so the evil plan of wiping out Korea and taking over Jeju Island and stuff like that is not as important as in the novels compared to the manhwa. The manhwa is more about Goto's like personal gains of having a huge credit to propel him to that national level status.
Of course, Goto knew this wasn't the most righteous way of doing things, but from his perspective, he wasn't really asking for a lot. What he was offering was by no means unfair to South Korea, and realistically, it was the only way to achieve what he wanted.
Honestly, it doesn't sound bad. If we just again ignore the evil plans from the novel, like what Goto is doing right now, he's like, all right, I'll participate. You guys give me us like a half of the cut of the magic stones or whatever, but at the end of the day, I'm kind of doing this for my own resume. That sounds perfectly fine.
Now, in the novel, Mr. Go couldn't help but question their intentions more, but that only led the officials beside him to effectively scold him.
I wonder why they changed it from the novels to the manhwa like this. And we know that the manhwa, the novel, also Sung Jin-woo is depicted in such a more menacing and an evil way. It almost feels like the novel is like the author, no restraints, just all out, writing the craziest shit that he wants. And then the editors came in and said, listen. We gotta chill a little bit, all right? You're doing too much. We gotta have a version that can be accepted by the wider public, okay? Have Jin-woo being less evil, right? Less just downright diabolical. Don't portray Japan in the worst way possible. Let's meet halfway there. That sounded like what the manhwa editors wanted.
Everyone aside from him wanted to seal the deal as fast as possible. That being the case, In the end, the proposal was approved unanimously. It was after that Matsumoto would commend Goto for his help, because the only reason he could talk to the chairman the way he did was because he knew he was safe with Goto next to him.
Oh, big bro Goto! Yeah, I mean, they're both chairman, but clearly like one is better than the other, right? This dude, I don't know what status hunter, maybe he's not even a hunter at all, but Gogan he, bro, he S rank. He the OG on paper, you know? So like this dude, he ain't got shit on Daddy Gogan he.
Together they had effectively achieved the first step towards something huge. A new empire that Matsumoto could become the emperor of.
Wow.
As for why someone as strong as Goto accepted this man as his superior, it was all because following his ambitions would lead himself to a place of greater power as well.
His politics.
And with that outcome all but confirmed, the only wildcard was the new S rank for whom they had zero information on.
And this wildcard is gonna be the unraveling of all of Japan's plans, man. Anyone can assume this at this point, right? All of their schemes and shit, bro, nah. They don't understand who Sung Jin-woo is. This dude is gonna be the one to clear the ant raid. Oh man, this is gonna be good.
They knew this could potentially deviate their plan, but they didn't think a single person could change things too much.
If only they knew that this is the main character.
I mean, the odds of him being someone who could was about 1 in a billion.
True, that's true.
With that being their only concern, both could rest easy knowing things were fine.
And let this be a big lesson in life that you should never get too cocky or confident, bro. You think that you got all, you know, everything checked out. You've done all the calculations. None of that shit matters when the unexpected happens.
So that's Japan's plan in its entirety. It's tough to say what route the anime plans on following, but...
That's right. You can literally do everything perfectly and still get fucked. That's what reality is. It's so unfortunate, but that, like, I don't know if you guys have felt this way, but like, bro, you can do everything perfectly, plan out everything, execute it to a T, and you still get fucked because of something that wasn't in your control. That's just life, man.
I hope this extra bit of information makes the Jeju raid more entertaining for you. At the very least, now you know there's more to it than just the main conflict itself.
Absolutely. This makes the show way more sweatier, way more interesting. Having these geopolitic drama happening behind the scenes, I think, would enhance the anime experience. But, do you think that the casual monkey watching this that got upset at Jinwoo crying and having an emotional moment with mom coming back could even appreciate this kind of meetings and dialogue? No. If anything, they're probably gonna maul and complain. Just like in Tensura Season 3. Now, Tensura Season 3, there was a good reason to complain. The meetings were fucking ass. It was not engaging. There's a good way to do it, but I think a lot of people, again, would complain that boring meetings. Pfft, I want fight scene, unga bunga.
But anyway, if you liked the video, then leave a like, and if you want...
I did. Thank you for the added context. This is beautiful. This is great, man. Holy, this, again, just kind of like puts into perspective of why Japan versus Korea, the nuclear drama that's gonna happen, is a thing. And I wonder how the anime will deal with it. Like, they can't deviate too much from the manhwa, right? So at the very least, we're probably gonna have, you know, Goto's intention of trying to become a national rank, national hunter status, but still, will the underlying evil plot be brought upon light? Will there be divine justice delivered to Japan because of the karma? To me personally, I think it'd be hilarious if, you know, the Japanese hunters all just got fucking wiped out because that's what the novels wanted to do for the Korean hunters, but that's it from me. Please go check out AniNews. There is a link to the video. Go give it a like if you want. Check out the merch shop too if you want some solo leveling t-shirts and stuff. See you next time.